Welcome back to Jessica's Craft Time. We're working on our miniature room today and this is episode 5. I hope everyone is well. We're just making the candy cane here for another decorative box. And I'm just putting some PVA glue on and I forgot my wipe like I always do. Luckily, because I realised I put the glue on the wrong side. With this one I probably should have cut the fabric in the other direction because it didn't quite give me the stripe that I wanted, but oh well, it's done. It'll look fine. People understand it's a candy cane. Now in the box here we've got these little beads with a bit of fabric sticking out, so it was just a little bit of glue into the bead and use the toothpick to push the fabric in. A lot of things that we're making today I've had to make and set aside to dry and come back to them. Now we have our wreath, so we're just winding some pipe clean around itself to create the wreath. And our tacky glue's out again, putting the beads in the glue and wrapping it round. I'm using the bulldog clips to hold the beads in place and things in place while they dry. And now I had to make a bow. This is why I didn't do the bows on the presents. I have great difficulty doing bows. I don't know why I struggled so much. I tried my bow maker, but the piece wasn't long enough. I've tried tweezers. I did get it in the end, but it was a struggle. I make another one later on, and I did it first time. I don't know what was going on here, but I eventually did get my bow. Finally. Yay. It finally comes. Come on, last little bit. You can do it. Yay, a bow. Excuse me. So, now we're on to our snowman. And this one created a few challenges as well. I've just used my PVA glue to glue the brim together. And we're making a hat. So, double-sided tape has been my best friend in this miniature house room thing. I've used it for so many different aspects of it. There's been a lot of paper craft aspects. This I did the same as the other little boxes. I stuck glue, double-sided tape over the whole back of it and stuck it on. What I really like about the double-sided tape is it gives you the instant bond, where you can see here with the PVA, it just moves around. That's okay because we can let it sit and dry, but sometimes I just want that instant bond. Now I had to wrap the scarf around the snowman's neck and his head kept popping off. So I actually went and just got my needle and thread. Now I only had white, but you're not going to see much of it, so it'll be fine. Wrapped it around, gave myself a rough idea of where it needed to be, and sewed the two ends together. His head kept popping off, poor snowman, so we got the scarf, put the scarf on, then put the head back on. The little arms are just little beads that I glued in, and I did need to adjust them a couple of times until they sort of stayed in place. And now we've got to do the eyes, which are these tiny little black circles. I wish I had a little hole punch that was big enough just to punch little tiny holes. But I don't, so we had to cut them out by hand. When it came to the holes on the buttons on the body of the snowman, I cut them out, the two together. And I've done that in the past too. It's a white background, so you're not going to really see it on the white pom-poms, and they'll glue on easier. Now we've got to create the nose, so we just cut that out, and I grabbed my double-sided tape again, put it on the little edge, and rolled it up. I did miss when I rolled it up. It's so tiny that it was uneven, so I just trimmed it. Stuck the base of it in some glue, and back on the nose. So this is another one that we have to sort of sit to dry. and he'll go off to dry. I'm loving these little containers. I got some erasers in for some Christmas thingies. Now these are the fences. So I just put PVA on the crepe paper and wrapped up each stick. Now with this house, it comes with a snow, like fake snow, that I was meant to put all over these fences, and it's meant to go on the outside of the house. But I think it's a little bit too much. I think it, from the pictures on the box, I think it looks a bit over the top. We don't get snow here in Australia. We have one Christmas. There was one Christmas. The last Christmas my dad was with us, it snowed. It was crazy that day. It was freezing cold. But generally, Christmas here in Australia is generally anywhere between 35 and 40 degrees Celsius, and it's hot. So I don't need snow on my house. I've left it off. I asked hubby. He's like, yeah, it looks a bit much. So I've left it off for now. If I need to put it on and I think it needs it later, I will. I think I'll still use the snowman, but not the extra snow. We're just wrapping some wire, the crepe paper around some wire now, and this will create it's going to create a fence basically. So I've got 2 longer bits and 2 shorter bits. And I just sort of bent the wire. I want it to look a bit rustic, so it's not overly straight. And the upright poles won't be straight when they get put together, which you'll see a little bit later on. I'm really liking this little PVA glue bottle thing that I got. It's just a little bit difficult to get the PVA in there. I really wish they worked with the tacky glue, but the tacky glue is just too thick. But the PVA works really well. So I've just grabbed, I'm just going to grab a case now, just to put it on. Excuse me. So, yeah, we've just put the glue dots on and put the uprights on the fence, and I'm just eyeballing it. It doesn't actually say in the instructions how far they're meant to be apart. I'm just eyeballing it. I want it to be like a rustic looking fence, and I'm just using the case so that I can move it out of the way. And another one to sit and dry. This is the candy cane in the box we made earlier, so I'm just making the candy cane a bit more candy cane-like and gluing them all in and off to dry again. The wreath has a bow and little bells that we're just going to stick on. And this is what I love about the trays. I can stick them on, move them off to the side, and I'm not touching them, because as you know, if you've watched anything, the more I touch it, the more it falls apart. Sometimes I just got to like stop. Now the Christmas tree was already a tree, and we're just wrapping the wires round. I do need to extend the wiring on these, but I'll do it when I get to the wiring stage. And we're wrapping our tinsel round, which is just a gold pipe cleaner. And I'm sort of using the tinsel to hold the wires in place and just playing with them. The tree itself is a little bit flat on one side, so I'm only going to decorate sort of the front of the tree. And then we've got the beads, and I'm using them all to sort of hold them in. And a bow. And as you can see, this one I got the first time. I don't know what was going on with the red bow, but I got that one first time. So now we need to put the little star on the top, and I put the glue on the wrong side before checking to see where the hole in the bead was. So we had to clear it off, clean it all off, and start again. And once I found the hole, it was a lot easier, and the bow on. And now it's just decorating the tree. We've got pink beads and gold beads, and on here we've also got the little tiny boxes that we made in one of the earlier episodes, and the stockings. So I was just trying to do sort of one half of the tree and just finding the right placement, a bit of glue on each item, and then kind of just shoving it into the tree. And hopefully by the time they all dry, they all stay in place. The tweezers, I'm getting better with my tweezers. I'm still not very good with them, but I'm getting better, and for this kind of thing it worked out really well. One of my stockings here had lost its top, so we just put that back on, and the last couple of beads. And that's the extra wire we need for later. So our tree is done. Now we're going to make the bed. So that was just pulling it off the template and gluing it together with my tacky glue. I find the PVA just takes a little bit longer to dry. The tacky is really good because it sort of holds it a bit quicker. And just working out which way to put them all on and adjust it. You've still got a little bit of time to adjust things, and it will dry clear, so it doesn't matter. Put that aside to dry, and we're just going to make a little bed runner here, which is just a little bit of fabric with some lace on either end. And the cushion. I have sewn my cushions in the past, but today I pulled out my double-sided tape again. We've put it down both sides of it, and this is just to fold the edges in so we don't have any fraying. More tape along the edges, and this will just give us something for it to stick up, and just leave a flap at the back to glue it back down once we fill it. So you've got all the fluff. I find pushing it into a kind of ball, shoving it in, and then using my tweezers to poke any in if needed. A chopstick works well for that as well. Glued it down, and this one has the bow on the front, so a little bit of glue on the bow. And we're done with that cushion. We're also making a book, and it was just cut out from the template sheets, and it's just a matter of folding. Fold, 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 fold. Now this book is going to sit open, and I realised I folded it the wrong way. It does actually have a spine on the paper, so we tried again, and I'm just sticking the sides down together with my multi-purpose Tombow, and the book does open. Now it's to put the bed to the decorations on the bed. So this is just a bit of white felt with a bit of PVA glue to stick it down, and it's the mattress. It's what gives it a little bit of fluffiness. Not much, but a little bit. And then this is a quilt cover, which is just some white fabric. It was actually too long, so I cut it down. Keep all your scraps. I keep all my scraps for... I actually needed to nick into my old scraps to find something for the piano stool later on. I'm not sure where they came from this one, so... I, had to go into my old scrap box of all my other miniature rooms, and I found something that would work, so it's handy to hold on to all your extra little bits and pieces. We're just creating another cushion here. So just doing it the same as last time, folding in those edges so you don't get fraying, and then I cut the tape in half for this one because I didn't want as wide a flat section on the edge. Excuse me. Bit of tape on the top, and I got it a little bit too wide, so we'll just cut the top bit off there and stuff it again. And you've done the cushions. So now we just have to dress the bed. Got a little bit of, the white is like a furry fabric, and we've got like a lace that goes down the side of the bed. So I'm just checking that I've got the right length and trimming it down. It was slightly too long, not by much, just a little bit. And I'm going to glue that to the side of the bed. And that's like a nice frilly bed skirt, a bit girly. And then it's just a matter of gluing all the other things on. You want to glue your cushions on, because if you pick up your room and you've got a cover on it and they're not glued down, they fall off. I've learnt that the hard way. the bed skirt, the little bed runner, and then our little book that we've made, and our little Santa hat we made earlier on. And that is our bed dressed and ready to go. We're not far off. We've almost done everything. Now we're just making the piano. My Tombow multi-purpose I use again so that the paper doesn't bubble, and just working out which bit goes where and which sides need glue on them and which way is the best way to stand it that it's not going to fall over on you. I don't worry too much about the extra glue because it'll dry clear, so I just flattened it out a little bit with my finger. And the piano is done, off to the side to dry a little bit while we do the next step. This is a piano stool. So the felt, the white felt yet again, we put that on there because that just gives us a little bit of the padding in the stool and gluing the fabric on. Now I tried gluing here and it didn't work. This fabric didn't like it, it kept slipping, it was messy. So I went back to my double-sided tape. I should have wiped the glue off first because the tape didn't want to stick to the wood, but we got there in the end. It took a few goes, but I finally managed to peel it off. So I put the tape on the wood, and then I'll also put the tape down the side, and this will hold the bits of fabric in when we fold it over to give you a neater edge. But be careful here because everything's sticky now, so it was really hard. My fingers kept getting stuck onto everything. And then another little bit of tape on either end, and that just gives you the bit to flip over. And we've got to stick the legs on, and I just used the extra glue that was on my finger. And yet again, we'll pop this off to the side to dry a little bit before. We've got a trim to put around the edge, but that can go off to the side to dry. I was too scared if I flipped it up that the legs would fall over. Now we're creating another little book. Now this one's all going to be glued together. It won't open like the other one, that's why the pages are blank inside. And I used a PVA on here, stuck it together. Now this is like a little globe on the what's it called, on the piano. I've noticed my book needs more gluing. I couldn't find the bead. It was meant to be this little pink bead, so I just grabbed a yellow bead that I had in a stash at home. Glued the other side of the book because I realised I only glued one side and it wasn't going to stay shut. And now it's about decorating the piano. So it has a bit of a lace, like a table runner, that goes over the top. And my double-sided tape comes out yet again because the side flaps wouldn't stay down and I wanted an instant hold. The PVA will eventually dry and hold it, but I wanted an instant hold so that it wasn't flapping up and that I could stick the rest of the things onto the top of the piano that needed to be. So we've got our book and our little light that falls off. So I have to move it off to the side, stick it back on when it's off to the side. Now these are going in either a window or a door, I can't remember from memory. And these are just decorative. I worked out that I needed something to hold it pretty quickly. My fingers weren't going to work. And I love these tweezers that have the purple on them. They're tweezers that clamp shut, so you don't actually have to hold them shut. They're great for when you need to hold something but you don't want to like press it shut. So they worked really, really well in this time. And then I just laid it across my green boat. These boats or trays are a diamond painting accessory that you use to put your drills on or your diamonds on when you're diamond painting. They're really, really handy for these miniature room because I can separate things, I can sit things on to dry, I can move them around, I can separate things. your bags come with all your beads, so it's really hard to fish out just one bead. So I tip the whole bag out, pick out the ones I need, and then put them back. So I find them well and truly worth it for miniature room. I think I have a stack of about 10 that I use out there, as well as the little containers. Had a bit of trouble here. The gold around the wire kept coming off, so I was having a lot of trouble getting that bead on to go over the gold. And of course at this point there's glue over everything, so everything's sticking on my hands, on my fingers. So my baby wipe comes out again. Baby wipes and trays, they'd be added extras to miniature room creating that I would highly recommend having. You don't have to have trays from diamond painting if you're not a diamond painter. The other little containers I've used in this house actually held erasers that I got from Kmart. The erasers I had split up to use as like little gifts for some kids, and I kept the little containers, and they're really good for small things that I can clip shut. The bigger trays, if I'm separating things out and then not working on it straight away, I'll put the tray into like a little Ziploc bag, just so that it stays together and doesn't get knocked. As you know, I've got a 4-year-old who likes to play with everything of Mummy's. If it's Mummy's, it's his to play with, so I'll put them aside. And that is us almost complete for this episode. We've completed everything. We just need to put the trim on the stool with this bit of tacky glue, and then we've done everything we need to for our miniature room. There'll probably only be 1 or 2 more episodes. There's not a lot left to go. It just depends how long it takes to build. Probably only 1 more episode. Make sure I clean up everything. Make sure I get all that glue off. And these are all the little bits and pieces that we've created. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely day. I'll see you all soon. Bye.